So getting back to money and investments, because that's like the theme around here. As much as we tell our clients that this is for the long term, do not worry. Markets have fallen and most portfolios are bleeding. As much as we tell them, it doesn't really agree. So that fear of losing money, that uncertainty is troubling people, and the immediate instinct is to call the advisor and shout at them. Shout at them. And it's part of the job. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm saying that's like an immediate reaction. Some of them do have advisors and financial planners they can shout at and get it out, but many of them don't even have anybody to talk to. In these circumstances, how should investors respond? How can they ensure that they don't do something that will hurt them in the long run? I know this is probably not only about investment, anything for that matter. When you're hyper and you might hurt yourself in the long run, the naming, taming, but all these applies to us. But how do we help them in that process? I can't like get on that call and tell them, now you're probably feeling fearful, can you name it? So that doesn't work. Now what should I do?
Okay, I would just go a few steps, going to the situation when an investor calls up. Investor is at a level of explode.
Yeah.
So first thing what you need to do is, it's also about you building a good relationship with that investor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to validate what that person is feeling.
Validate what that person is feeling.
So again, what we did, the dealing with feelings with the child, we are going to do dealing with feelings with this investor. So yeah. So looks like the Corona times or the COVID times has really made life extremely challenging for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the minute, if you were to tell me as an investor, and when I'm first time, shouting and bombarding and exploding, and you just let me know this, it just gives me that little solace. It gives me little soothing. It's like comforting. Okay. And I'm sure even your investors know that you can't do, the lockdown is for you as well.
Yeah.
But that explosion would happen. So how does one validate? How does one deal with their feelings? And that's important, especially when you need your clientele, when you need to build and keep that relationship with your people. It can be your team, it can be with the investors. And coming back to what the investors would be feeling and how do they cope with this? Well, we have a very interesting technique that we share with the participants and with people in general, and this is called the RAIN technique.
Okay,
the RAIN technique. So it's can I have a slide share of the RAIN technique so that all our audience would be able to see it. Now, what is this RAIN technique? Whatever we've been talking about in terms of recognizing the emotion or labeling the emotion, that is all put together in the first part, the RAIN. Okay, when we say RAIN technique, so the abbreviation RAIN, R stands for recognize how you're feeling.
Okay. Recognize how you're feeling.
Recognize how you're feeling. So whatever we spoke about, the name it to tame it, that happens in that space where you're identifying whatever the emotion. It may not be one emotion. It may be a mixed bag of emotions. Okay. So whenever the intensity, when any of us are in those intense moments, we can use the RAIN technique. So R stands for recognize how you're feeling. And you're taking fingerprints, your body is going to identify and tell whether it is anxiety, whether it is frustration, whether it is sadness, whether it is uncertainty, or whether it is, you feel that you're doomed. Whatever is the feeling, the R is going to help us identify the feeling and you're going to label it. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So when things feel too much and we are overburdened, first recognize what is going on. Once you know, you're looking around and seeing what is happening within yourself. Then A, allow and acknowledge your feelings. By allowing yourself to acknowledge the feelings, it means you're embracing the way you feel and you're not keeping the emotions out of the window. Because where are these emotions? They are all there within ourselves. So we need to validate the emotions ourselves. So allow you to experience, each one of us has to allow ourselves to experience no matter what that emotion is. Because all the emotions are, they have a wisdom, okay, they have a message, and they are a wake up call.
They
And
have a wake-up call. Okay.
wake up call. So it's like an alarm, you know. It keeps telling us that something is going wrong, something is going wrong. So it's giving a message. Are we able to decode that message? So allow yourself to feel that emotion and say it is okay to feel that way. So not only acknowledging it, you're also accepting yourself to say it is okay to feel that way.
It's okay to feel angry. It's okay
to feel any of these emotions, even if it is anger, even if it is frustration.
Yeah.
Now, the minute you say that, don't you feel that you've taken a sigh of relief?
Yeah. It's okay to feel angry. Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. So you feel accepted. And one more thing I would just like to add that, you know, these emotions are like, you know, it's like in a classroom, you know, how when children are wanting to say something, is their hand, right? They want to talk.
Yeah.
They want to talk. Teacher, I, teacher, I, teacher, I.
Yeah.
Even these emotions are like that within us, and they are saying, hey, listen to me, hey, listen to me, hey, listen to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're not going to listen, they're going to increase in intensity, and then things go a little beyond.
Yeah.
So,
okay, interesting. That's an interesting analogy.
Yeah, to experience it, acknowledge it, embrace it, so that you feel better.
Okay.
Then investigate what your thoughts are, and what are emotions doing. Like, what is it making you feel? What is it making the whole atmosphere around feel? What are my thoughts? Pay attention to the thoughts. Like, you know, am I wondering about how I'm going to pay my EMIs? Am I wondering how am I going to, like, I'm not sure I'm going to get my salary, or how do I pay for the fees of the children? How do I cope up at this time? So all those, just investigate and see what your thoughts are telling you.
Okay.
You catch all those thoughts. So whatever the thoughts are, because we keep having so many thoughts in the day, so you keep catching those thoughts, and just pay attention to those thoughts as well. What is it making you feel? So
what is making you feel that way?
Yeah, so like investigate, and finally, what is the goal? What is it that you want? You want to feel better, isn't it? That's the goal. So then N is non-identify with the experience. Here it means that don't attach yourself and hold yourself to that emotion. Let go. Allow the thoughts also to go, and don't be attached and hold on to what you're thinking about or what you're feeling. So allow yourself to transition from that state and move on. Because if we look back, any adversity that we have had, we've stayed on to that adversity. Things have changed.
I think the last part is going to be the most difficult, right? So, so you're saying that I recognize that I'm angry. It's okay to feel angry. And I think I'm angry because something is not working the right way. And then what do? I don't understand the non-identify.
Yeah, so don't hold on to it. You cannot say, oh, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling overburdened, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. So don't hold yourself and attach yourself to that. So the non-attachment is that you're transitioning to a different state as well. After you've acknowledged it, you're letting go of that emotion. You're letting go and saying, okay, you've given me this message, you've allowed me, you're showing me this path at this particular point of time. And then now I'm feeling a lot better. And okay, so it's like the non-identity or the attachment. So don't hold on and get attached to that emotion.
Let it go.
Let it go. So it even like, like balloons, how they just fly off. So maybe
Yeah.
you can put your thoughts into each of the balloons and allow them to fly.
Right. Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's like even if a roller coaster is coming, so instead
Okay.
of roller coaster, just
I
step
like that balloon and then fly. Okay.
or just step back and
Okay.
just allow it to go.
Love to go. Oh,
So
it is
then,
interesting.
so then
Yeah.
it is like, then I know the saying is that this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Yeah.
So this
But
is
instead
some,
of jumping to saying this too shall pass, you're saying go through recognizing, allowing, investigating, and then say let. Then it's probably more likely that you actually let go.
hang
Right?
on.